staging.give.
Thanks.
Okay, well, I'll just, I had the Notion open and I lost it. Sorry. Almost lost it.
Ooh. Wow, I'm getting some major rewards over at staging. Jeez.
Okay. Alright, okay. I started the stream. I'll start sharing my screen. Welcome to your GIVeconomy sync on February 9th. We can just start with intentions and distractions quickly. My intentions for the call are to, maybe we can talk about the UniV3 APR thing, but I don't know if, it'd be great if Pablo was here, that it would be helpful, but since he's not, just go through it, whatever's on the board. There's not a lot, so maybe we just end early, or we could talk a little bit about regen farms or give power. Yeah, I put it on the agenda. I'll pass it to Amin.
Hello again. I'm trying to be helpful. I have not done anything regarding your economy last week. Yeah. I'm not distracted. I pass it to Cherry.
Thank you, Amin. Hello, everyone. My intention is to sync up and talk about new subjects like give power, regen farms, and know more about the UniV3 APR progress. I have no distractions. I'll pass it to Muhammad.
Hey everyone. Last week I was busy on the impact graph and Giveth, so I didn't do much thing on GIVeconomy, and I'm here to be sync with you guys. I have no distraction. I pass it to Griff. Have you gone?
Yeah, no, I haven't. My intentions are to figure out this APR thing, ASA fucking P, and then just hang out and love hanging out with you guys. I love the idea of talking about regen farms too, since we're all here. I'll pass it to Lauren.
Okay,
Oh, and Pablo said that he'd be here in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. So maybe we can... we should wait for Pablo to come before we get into the APR. Right?
Yeah. Might as well.
All right. Then... I will. Maybe we could just, quickly go through the board. There's really not much on here, I think. So I guess actually, should we make a new vote to change people's addresses that couldn't claim the gift drop? Because there's a few new people that were added to that. This is on here.
Next month.
Next month? There are 3 or 4 people there already.
Yeah, I think we wait until we wait to collect. We just did it I think we do it max once a month.
Okay.
And also, ETH Denver, Mitch is on vacation.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to do it until after ETH Denver.
Okay. Is this done? Did we... I don't know if we actually came up with a solution to solve the issue of many votes to distribute givebacks. Last we checked, you were reviewing a PR from Pablo, I think.
I reviewed that the PR seemed okay. Paula wanted to create the deployment script. I didn't follow up the rest. The smart contracts was okay.
Okay. So then we'll be able to have just one vote in the Aragon in order to make givebacks go through?
Yes. But, it can support more givebacks than before. For instance, if we had previously had a limit of 40, now we can have for maybe 200 or 300
okay.
givebacks per proposal. I don't know the exact number, but it has more capacity.
Okay, so it sounds like we need Pavle to finish this?
I didn't follow up. He was going to prepare the deployment script, create a proposal. By Mitch may know better. No, Mitch will join here.
No, he's on vacation.
Oh,
I'll just ask for updates. That sounds fine. Cool. Quick Unity 3. Oh, this is done. The changing it to a heart. Thanks, Jarek, for doing that service.
Thanks.
Yeah, nice work, Jarek. That was huge.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And the give matching pool is also set up. Retroactive give backs. So, did you have any questions on this, Mohammed? You were asking me before in DM. It's like basically we needed the trace donations, and we wanted to have also the donations to non-verified projects. I think there were like a few other things that we were missing from Mitch's comment. Oh, you're on mute.
It's not finished yet. I hope I can do it after the rainbow roll stuff.
Oh, okay. Is this Is this in this sprint?
It's in this sprint, but the rainbow roll took too much time from me, so it's a little chance that I cannot do that. But I will try to deliver it.
Okay, let me know if you have any questions.
Sure, thanks.
Cool. Hey, Pavle, welcome to the party. Glad you're here.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. There was a little bit of a confusion. I'm on the phone. I will be on my computer in like less than 5 minutes, but I can answer questions right now if it's necessary.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Well, we wanted to talk, since you're here, we want to talk about the UniV3 APR, and like, since we have a bunch of people in the room, if there's anything we can like figure out collectively so we can get it working properly.
Okay. So I can just go through what I've dug out as the root of the problem, and that is that we're looking at the way that the rewards are being distributed in the wrong way. So essentially, our assumption was that every position, a position is one NFT, it has like a lower tick and a upper tick. So it's the lowest price range and the highest price range that it has, and then every position that crosses the current price receives rewards, all of it, and then it's like a proportion, right? So over the total, all the positions, and then they all receive rewards, and then it's only distributed to the ones that are staked, and the rest are sort of left over. But actually, it's not quite like that. It's based on the same mechanism that Uniswap uses to distribute fees from the pool. Now, the fees from the pool actually only target the money, so the liquidity that's in the tick, so that's the range of price from the lowest to the highest price, where the current price is, because those are the actual coins that are being swapped. There's this fancy math, which is like total liquidity per second in range, and this value is passed on to the staker contract, and the staker contract then determines what your proportion is, and that's why it's being distributed to everyone, because every position has potentially some liquidity in that range over time, and that's how you can, when you claim rewards, the Uniswap pool will tell you, okay, you've had over time have spent this much liquidity inside of the range of the current price, and the current price moves over time. But this is over a period of time in which rewards are distributed, and then that's your reward. So basically, the way that we assume that the APR was calculated, in my opinion, and I think I can back it up with facts from the code, is wrong. Now, I'm not really sure what to do with that, because you can't just say, well, just pretty please put all your rewards in, like put all the liquidity in the narrowest range, because that's not an optimal decision for an average, staker or an average LP, because the rewards are highest there for a reason. And there are two reasons for that. The first one is that the price moves over time. So you will move out the range. You will need to mint a new NFT, position NFT, and rearrange your position, potentially multiple times, depending on how narrow your price range is. And GIVE is a relatively new token, and people, the price, people dump it, people pump it, it goes up and down all the time. So that's one problem. The other problem, which is much greater, is that it doesn't matter how many rewards you get if you get wrecked by impermanent loss. So that's the way I see it. So to recap, the first point is that the rewards, the way that we calculate them across like the whole spectrum of liquidity, and this value is higher than the narrowest spectrum of liquidity, which is why sometimes we get such a large discrepancy, because a lot of liquidity moves out of range as the price moves around. And also that's why full range has such low returns, because the full range has a very small amount of liquidity in the active sort of part. And the other one is like, I am not sure what to display. Obviously, we can't just display what we display now, because that value is not correct. But at the same time, you cannot just pick one value and say, "Oh, this is correct." I've assumed that maybe we can compute some kind of minimal value or maximal value that you can get, and just say it's that, and then have like an explainer that sort of points out this fact that how these distributions work. And yeah, that's where I am right now. I hope that's of use to our discussion.
Thank you. Paula, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I have understood correctly, you mean that few people, we have allocated some tokens to distribute for Uniswap staker, and it doesn't consume all of that, or no? It's consuming that amount. It dishes out that rewards, and some users with narrow ticket space get more than APR, and others with wide space get lower than APR.
Yeah.
Am I right?
So the ratio should be like that.
Sorry, I didn't get.
Okay, I'll try and explain. It's really confusing. Basically, if you look at the way that Uniswap rewards, like percentage rewards work, the people who provide liquidity closer to the current price when there's a swap. There's a swap at a certain point in time. That swap has a price, a defined price. That price is within a tick. This means that,
I got that. I mean that if I create a position with narrow space, consider that my position space is exactly the range price. So what did you say the term?
Yeah.
I forgot. If it matches with that exactly, I will get more than APR that we have claimed.
Yeah. So
more than APR.
Yeah, it's basically like this. There's like a 2D thing. So you have your total liquidity. This is all of your liquidity that you put in the pool. Then from that, you take what's at a point in time, you take what's in that range, that tick, where the price is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean that I have successfully. I could manage to hit that range. All of my liquidity is in that range. So I would get the best, the most the best reward that I could, right?
Yes, all of your liquidity would participate in
Reward, yeah.
all of your liquidity would count.
Yes,
But-
and in that case, I would get reward that is more than the APR that we had in our website. We have calculated. We would get higher than that, right? Because some people are receiving less than that, and I'm getting higher than that, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know, like for each individual case, because if I recall correctly, we count the total, like we count all the positions.
I know. I mean, because many people don't get the expected reward. Some people should get more than that, more than expected.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people would actually get more, at least much more than the returns that we are seeing. I guess those who are like right in the price range.
Yeah,
like those whose liquidity is like super concentrated.
I think the idea is that if you were providing full liquidity in this tick, you would get the APR that we are showing. No one would get more than the APR we are showing. It's not the average.
I don't think so, but I cannot prove this like deterministically. Like I don't have a formula that would prove this because those are two completely separate values.
Well,
it seems reasonable if user get more than that because the total liquidity will be less than what we have calculated. If Uniswap, if for instance we have set Uniswap to pay, for instance, I don't know, 500 GIVE per day, for instance, I don't know what's the amount. My question is whether is it paying that reward or not. If it's paying, the APR would be higher than our calculated APR for some users, and many higher than that because the in-range liquidity is so less than the total liquidity that we have computed.
I think that we can confirm this theory by testing. And I think that we should. I'm trying to get Lauren to sort out how to do that. Yes, you can. So we're going to confirm this theory because it should be easy to put a full range thing. I mean, we just got to test. I'm kind of like, I think it's silly to think that we know the ideas or can figure it out. We need to we obviously don't know what's going on. So we have to assume we know nothing. And then test theories by actually staking NFTs and seeing if those theories match the results that we get. And then when we find out exactly what is happening, then through DR Give 3 testing on our staging, right? Then we act. But until then, I don't think we should get hung up on theories. We should test the theories and then make sure. Because the one thing we do know is that we're doing it wrong. So
okay. So there's also another way we can do this that might not require full integration of because it doesn't really matter to the calculation if we're doing it on our production, so on our staging, or on a pool, right? This has to be one of these Uniswap v3 staker pools. So what we can do is like we can fork the existing code base of the Uni v3 staker, and we can just like perhaps write a test that confirm this. So if we can have a deterministic test scenario in which, because the Uniswap v3 staker has an integration test suite. And it pulls up everything. It pulls up the pool, pulls up some positions, and calculates the reward. Then we can potentially create a test that does this without doing, because I'm assuming that doing it through the existing staging would be more difficult. Again, that's just my idea. This is what I would do if I were working on this by myself. Again, if we can easily just like pull up a deployment of the staging, or use existing staging deployment, figure out how many tokens there are, and do like a test run, maybe this is also a good approach. But either or will get us to the target. And again, like, this still doesn't answer the question of, like, because, you know, I wouldn't be saying this if I was very, very sure that I was right. And if I am correct, or if it's something similar to what I'm saying, then the question becomes, what do we actually display? I think that's something we can get an answer for right now, which is basically, what do we want to display? The APR, but
if you're
like which what?
If you are correct, Pablo, which until we confirm it, I don't think we should just assume that you are correct, because this is something that can be confirmed, so we should confirm it before we make really hardcore plans. But if this theory is correct, which in my opinion it is, by the way, like, I think it makes sense. The way UniV3 works is that there's a lot of these little mini pools, and each tick is its own mini pool, is my understanding, right? And so it makes sense that they're just looking at the one current mini pool that's in range as the liquidity source. I think that is triangulated with all my information. So I do actually believe you, Pablo. And the way that I would do it is I would say that we could understand what someone who puts their full range as an in, like if they did a full range thing, then we could say that we could come up with a minimum APR. And if they put in all of their range into one tick, then that would be a maximum APR. And we can display that range.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, it does make sense, because the APR shouldn't be lower than, it should be lowest when you have the full range, but because the way we calculate the APR is handy, because it's sort of a one-dimensional calculation. It's like you have all of the liquidity, and that's like all of the liquidity, and you just divide it with the rewards, and you get like, so all the liquidity divided by rewards gets into the formula, and you get the APR. But here it's like, okay, if I put a full range APR, I'm also like colliding with other people who have not full range APRs, right? So it's dynamic. So
it's dynamic, but you can determine the maximum.
But it's computable, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking maybe we could like hack it and get like a value that's we just computed and we just put it. But yeah, we could come up with a way where it's like we compute it for each user. What's the minimum amount and what's the maximum amount? Yeah. I think that would be okay if the UX is like.
And then we just have to tell the user with a pop-up, you know, the more concentrated your liquidity is, the better your rewards.
Okay.
But before we make any progress on that, we have to confirm this is true.
Yeah, sure. What's I agree completely, by the way. What would be the plan for that? Like, and who is going to engage on this? Is it just going to be me, or is it going to be me and myself, or like how does this fit into the priority of the rest of of everything else that we're doing?
I think it's pretty critical. It's definitely a sore spot to see that heart there and not be able to tell people that they're getting insane APRs. Right? I mean, it feels pretty critical. I think it's easy to confirm what you're saying, so I'm going to try to confirm what you're saying. I just got stuck on the UniV3 pool, but...
The next approach would be testing. I mean, to getting verified that, and because it's not clear for me what we should do to overcome this, changing the UI or compute that for every compute the minimum APR.
I mean,
to do my job.
First step is to confirm that it's true. And then once we actually understand what is happening, then we can design the system. But I feel like we're only like 80% sure that we know what's happening. So
Okay, so there's also one more thing. It's like if we interact right now, we get the data from the subgraph, but the subgraph gets the data from like querying all the positions and so on and so forth. But there is a sort of convenience call on the actual staker that is just that should return the rewards you're expected to get from the staker itself. Now, it's used to claim the rewards, right? Because like when you claim the rewards, the staker needs to know how many tokens they're supposed to get from that system. So, what I would also suggest is seeing if can we use that to compute the APR based on the amount of liquidity that you have. Because we should be able to know what your total liquidity is, and you can just get the rewards from the staker, which is how much are you entitled to by the end of the program. And is this enough to get the APR calculation done? I don't know. I need to think about this because I'm not sure really.
You mean that we do this per user and each user see the different APR, and for users without any NFT, we should think something different? Doing some maximum.
That is a problem because you are correct. If a user doesn't have a staked position, then they wouldn't be able to calculate their APR, which is a problem.
Yeah, we can show the minimum and maximum for that case. Say that up to the such amount of APR, we can claim that.
Okay, so that is something that I was trying to. I don't think I explained it well enough. The problem is that the minimum and maximum APR depends in this case not just on liquidity, it also depends on the positioning of the liquidity. So maybe I'm getting something wrong because I didn't really think about this well enough. Maybe somebody can correct me, but how would you calculate the minimum APR universally and also the maximum?
APR, you would assume that someone is putting, if someone currently had a full range thing with 1 ETH, for instance, they had a 1 ETH total liquidity and it was currently full range, then you would understand how much concentrated liquidity is in that tick with that 1 ETH or whatever base unit you want, and then you would get the APR for that person given the current rewards. So you determine how much concentrated liquidity they have, and then you would do the math on what their share of concentrated liquidity is and distribute the rewards to them. And then if you had someone who had that full amount in the concentrated liquidity, then how much would they get? And that would be the max.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess then we would have to compute this because there's no way to query for this. Never mind. I was thinking about something else.
How often Uniswap computes that price range and allocates rewards?
Every swap, I assume.
Do you know, Paula, when it does that?
Okay, so the way it works is every time you swap, the pool takes into account it has an accumulator that takes into account the total liquidity over time. So it's your liquidity like was there and then it moved. So it's like the liquidity over time has shifted. So that's how it works, basically. It's weird. It's not a linear thing. It's not just liquidity. It's liquidity over time. That's what's being calculated, basically.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. That was complex
It
logic
is
that you
complex
have
if you
investigated.
want to get a very accurate reading, but like also what we could figure out is like what would be the estimate, because I'm just, the users care if they can't get an accurate reading, an absolutely accurate reading, then the users would probably care more, in my opinion, to have a value that's, you know, at least minimally accurate and not 10 times overestimate or 10 times underestimate in any situation. So, yeah, again, I think that's what we should strive for. But that's the way I see it right now.
And one good information, good data is informative data that we can get from our subgraph is see how much reward we have paid by Uniswap stake program. And we can be sure that the users with narrow positions has received a huge amount of reward. If we see the history of rewards or get the current rewards, query the smart contracts for current reward state positions, we can have better vision of what's going on, and actually the allocated reward is paid to positions or not, or it's wasted. Is it clear what I'm saying?
I mean, I didn't quite understand that, honestly.
You know, I think, for instance, we have allocated 500 ETH to pay by Uniswap staker, right, in our program as a reward to the stakers. I'm not sure whether that 500 is paid is paid to a staker by Uniswap or not. Maybe it is wasted. A few amount of that is paid. You know, I'm telling that because we cannot say that, okay, if you're you have a narrow position, you will get higher reward. Maybe we are paying I don't know, 50 gig per day, not 500 of gig per day by Uniswap staker.
Yeah, so that part I'm not so sure about. The only thing that can affect that is that, for example, if nobody staked, there's no liquidity in the price just went bananas, and like there's no liquidity in the price, none at all. And if that is the case, then I'm not sure that any rewards are being distributed. But if there's some liquidity in the price, then the staker should be like, okay, everybody who has a share of that liquidity can claim it. So if it's like 50 per day and half of the liquidity is staked, then 25 is claimable, right? Because 25 is not staked at that time.
Yeah.
So there's. Do you want to tell him? Mm-hmm. G-Beast is finding out that someone is gaming our system. So the user who found this out, he's finding out that someone is putting all of their liquidity in one tick, and when they do that, they're scoring all the APRs. Lauren's gonna add the.
I'm just gonna copy paste everything into our UniV3 chat, but. Yeah, it's like they're providing all the liquidity on one tick, and then as soon as it moves out, they sell it or they unstake it, and then they sell it and they provide it the new tick. So they're just like chewing up all the rewards. But bear with me, I'm gonna copy it all.
And you can see it's just this one guy exploiting this simple fact that we're giving huge rewards to this pool, and we're not telling people that concentrated liquidity actually earns the rewards. and he's taking all the rewards by concentrating his liquidity, and then he's dumping give tokens when the price goes down and he gets a lot of give tokens, and he's pumping give's price when the price goes up on him.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
I know.
Well, welcome to the Dark Forest. That is 100% a bot. They do that. It's the question is like, is there something we can do right now to ameliorate this? Can we put out a communication that says basically, hey, by the way, you need to concentrate your liquidity a bit more?
What if we change the price? We should change the price to solve this.
They got like $10 million in their back pocket that they don't have any better use for. Okay, so
and I just confirmed it by making 2 NFTs. Like, I staked them both; they have almost the same amount, and I'm getting 1/7 the amount of give in the full range NFT that I am getting in a more concentrated range.
yeah, so the answer is
So
people who are not concentrating their liquidity are getting kind of shafted for rewards.
mhm. And the person, and if someone concentrates their liquidity, then they get huge rewards.
Yeah, which is not so much of a problem, but the problem is that they dump.
Yeah,
And whatever, the biggest issue is it's not just that they dump; they have to dump because they eat the loss one way or another. If it moves out of range, you eat the loss. So they have to liquidate to take care of their position. It's
honestly, though, if more people were buying and selling, then he would be pumping the price, right? He'd end up losing out on give. He'd have to sell his give. He'd be selling his give, and then he'd have to rebuy the give on the market. So he'd dump the ether to buy the give. And if the price was moving the other direction, then he would actually be pumping the price. The problem is he earns give, a lot of it, for his thing. So he gets more give than he does ETH, just by the fact that he's earning it.
So those are two problems. As far as I understand, we kind of confirmed what's going on. So we have a direction in which to take this, but how do we is there anything we can do about this person dumping the give?
We can create ourselves some positions with narrow and stop him from draining. No, it's not draining. It's getting all others' money.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, my position is can be narrower, unfortunately. So, but sorry, I'm like there's like 3 different things that I'm thinking at the same time. So, which problem are we solving first? Of course, like we can put up our own liquidity more narrow, and then we kind of solve a part of that problem. But the question now becomes, what do we actually display to the users?
I think the first thing we need to display is a pop-up that says the more concentrated liquidity you have, the higher your APR is. And we can do that today, right? Or we can do that today or tomorrow. A pop-up that with the heart that says, if you the more concentrated liquidity you have, the higher your APR. Like, concentrate your liquidity for higher APRs, and that's it. And that we can do now, or as soon as we can, right? And then we have to figure out if we can create a range of APRs, because in the end, people are going to get a range of APRs. So if we could display a range of APRs, I think that would be the ideal solution, because that's what people will get. They will get a range, and so we should be, in my opinion, we should be able to determine the max and the min. I actually think the math that we have right now is showing the max APR. I think we are showing the max APR. I don't think we're showing somewhere in between. I think that
we are showing something in between, because the user with that narrow is getting high more than APR sperm.
He's getting way more than that?
Yes, of course, it should. I didn't compute, but because he with very small amount of liquidity, he's getting much reward, because he's consider the reward the total liquidity. The total liquidity is less than that, so APR is higher than what we are showing. The liquidity that is responsible for getting the liquidity which is eligible for receiving reward is highly less than what we have computed. So the APR will be higher than what we have.
Okay, well let's see what he gets. I mean, the other thing we can do is we could battle him with a bot. If you guys can make a bot, I can provide the liquidity to battle him, and we can, I can adjust the price and buy up his give, and move it to something that, we could add liquidity, and we can just literally, anytime that he creates a position, we raise the price past his position, and then move him out of it, like, right away.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being attacked, we can attack him. And we just buy up his...
solution to this, like, maybe we can look that up for just market making. Because we probably need to deploy this pretty quickly, but even now, like, what we can do is, like, we can decide it, like, in today, like, we can, if there's any positions that we have, we can make them more narrow, like, not do full range and everything else. So that's the point. That would be the first step, and then we see what happens. Because again, I don't understand why this person is just dumping like an idiot. Because unless they're dumping somewhere else, which again I'm not sure where they will be able to dump, because they move themselves out of their own price range. Like,
I think they dump when they're in their price range. Sorry, I think they dump once they're out of their price range. Just looking at their transactions, it's like they do it every couple of days,
Oh, so the question. Okay, so right. Well, at least we know what to display to the users, like, informationally. We can decide, like, and how to compute the most correct APR is something that we need to still research and come up with a formula, essentially, that does this. But as for liquidity, I don't know how much liquidity we have available, and the only thing that comes to mind is, like, what we have right now. Just like, if anybody has, like, a full range position, don't do that, because you're kind of getting played. Yeah, that's about it. I'm sorry I'm not more help, but honestly I don't know what to do.
Well, I think the next steps are, can we try to figure out what a max and min APR would be?
Okay, that's definitely something we can quickly work on. I will try and figure out a way to compute that basically right now.
Okay, and
As soon as I come up with something, I'll share it with everybody. Report it up.
And then Sherrick, are you? I assume you're the best person to make the pop-up.
Sure, I will do that.
I mean,
I have a quick question.
yeah.
Just regarding the showing information to kind of concentrate to get more rewards. Isn't that an expected thing for a user to know that the more they concentrate on liquidity, the more rewards they get?
No, I mean this is the thing. UniV3, Bright ID was doing it wrong, and the documentation has been horrible. Like, we didn't know that this was the case, and I don't think any user does.
Dude, basically,
Go ahead, Paul.
the entire program ran through, and nobody figured out that it's wrong. Like, everybody's assumption was wrong because those contracts are just like difficult to read, and the documentation just kind of offhand mentions that it's in range, and people just assumed in range means it's crossing the range, but in range in this case means the most narrowest range possible. The exact tokens that are being swapped, so that's why like it's proportionally in range. Not to repeat myself. So that's why this vampire motherfucker is sucking the rewards out, and that's why we're having this problem where you have this ridiculous amount of APR, but you're not seeing it because it needs to be more concentrated. Again, it's a difficult problem because if it's like a whale or if it's some kind of pro trader that does this, they have the tools and they have the money to reposition themselves all the time. But most users don't. Most users are expecting the kind of experience you have from regular LP farming, which is just like you set it up and you get the rewards. And that's it. Just regular Unipool stuff.
Got it. So basically, like setting up the range and then thinking like in a user's head is like, I'm setting up a range on a Unipool and I know that I will be getting this APR as long as I stay in that range. Like that is that is kind of like in the heads of the user currently, right? Yeah. But it's not the case. Actually, you're saying it's not a case right now. The case is where you actually make the concentrator, make it more narrower. You're actually getting more APRs, and that's nobody knows that. That's what you're saying.
Here's what we're saying, right? Literally one more sentence. So you can go in there.
I completely understood that. Okay, cool. Pop-up totally makes sense here.
Yeah.
Although it still does not solve the problem of this. How do you call it? The motherfucker who's raiding out that pool.
I'll figure out this.
Vampire liquidity miners. They're just a problem. Everybody has that problem. Yeah. But like it's just like we're still a small token that doesn't have that much liquidity pumped in, so it really feel its effects. Because again, the problem isn't that this guy's getting rewards. The problem is that he's dumping. So I don't know. Like what we're saying, good right now is like people know that they know when they're out of range, and the problem that I don't know how to solve is like with people who need to reposition their range all the time because a lot of people don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that. That's bullshit. Also, it's hard. It's work. So I don't know. Like
we need an automator. We need an automator here. Like we need to create a product that is automator that and also like build in like the notifications, like Ethereum push notification services, to kind of inform you that you're kind of losing on the rewards because you need to concentrate on more, and also like an automator plugin, call it whatever, that does the job for you. I think I saw that somewhere, but anyway, I think that's what.
There's arbitration bots that do this automatically. The problem isn't that you can't automate it. You can probably automate it. It's expensive.
I know.
An NFT and repositioning can cost $100. Plus, I don't know what this person is doing because, sorry, one more sentence. Because they can incur permanent loss. Like, it's weird. It's like I guess they think this is kind of shitcoin, so they might as well dump it and get out of it as quickly as you can. But the point is, this is not for everybody.
I'm going to call
Really?
it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so the bottom line is to sum it up. What are the next steps we're going to do?
Okay. Pop up, so we can just replace the APR pop up. Lauren already made an issue, assigned it to Cherik. They're already talking in back rooms while we yap. They're actually solving our problems. Pavle and Amin, I don't know if you guys can both come together and independently or together come up with a way to calculate the max and the min. Because in the end, users are going to get a minimum or a maximum amount. I know this is true. We just have to figure out how to determine it. And then I'm going to call up Kirch right now, and we're going to start fucking with this guy. Luckily, he's going to be spending more money on gas than he is on making rewards. That's our goal.
I made an issue as well for the range of UniV3 APRs, and I'll assign it. I assigned it to Pavle. I'll also assign it to you, Amin, and I'll post it in our channel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
And we should give G-Beast something.
Yeah, this Gbeast is the guy who reported the issue in the first place, and he's also the one. All that stuff I copy pasted into the channel. That was just him doing independent investigation. So he's being so helpful for us right now.
We should give him a concentrated NFT.
Yeah.
Can you share his wallet address with everybody here, and then we can just drop him some gift tokens or something?
I can do that.
Or should we do that kind of officially from Giveth?
I think we can make a conviction voting proposal.
Awesome.
In the garden.
Yeah,
Great idea, man.
we have to make a forum post, wait 5 days, and then he gets it.
Let's do it.
Time, but yeah, I think we can do it.
Cool. Can I tell him that?
Yeah. No. Better to give him rewards. You can tell him that, but I think he'll like it better if it just starts if we make a forum post,
Mm-hmm.
When the forum post is up, or at least when the vote is up, or something.
Okay, I'll read a forum post then. Cool. Nice. Are there any other parts of this that we're missing?
Comms.
Oh, yeah, I gotta make a tweet.
We need a tweet. We should give a shout out to G-Beast in the tweet, and we should probably show people what the guy is doing.
Yeah.
And we can make this a big thing, right? Giveth is under attack!
Asking to sell the coins OTC for start.
Yeah.
Can I? Are we sure he's dumping all the GIF? Do we know that for sure? Because maybe he's just holding all the GIF. I don't want to demonize somebody even for something they're definitely.
We can find out.
Okay. So I'll work with Griff and make some comms around this.
Yeah.
Who want to call him for stopping him? What was the approach for?
I think.
Do you want to create a bot?
Do you want to create a bot?
I think we can start by doing it manually, and then we'll figure out how to. And then I'll see if Kirch can write a spec for a bot.
Who?
My buddy Kirch, who manages all my holdings, my accountant, basically, my trader. So first, let me and him figure out what the bot needs to do, and then we'll see if we write a bot.
Mm-hmm.
What if we ourselves create a fat position with narrow space?
Well, then
narrow range.
Then we'll be stealing all of the liquidity rewards. What I don't want to steal all the liquidity rewards. I want the liquidity rewards to go to the people. I think what we need to do is, I'm going to figure out with Kirch what we need to do, but my assumption is that when someone puts in a concentrated liquidity, like really just like a really concentrated liquidity, we buy them out to the positive side and right away. And I think that's the way to fight it, is just make him waste his gas every time someone makes a concentrated liquidity that's too narrow. We just buy them out and raise the price of Giveth, so they're out of range and they're just spending gas.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if we make a more concentrated liquidity where it's like let's kill spiders with scorpions, we don't. I don't want to be the scorpion.
Yeah, although to a point, we are allowed to provide our own liquidity. Like if we went to a traditional exchange, we would have to front like 500K for liquidity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we got the rewards as well, but rewards we can always redistribute.
Yeah, that's the point. I said if we get the money, get that reward ourselves, we can redistribute it later. Don't always steal that, at least.
That's true, but I just don't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what works and what doesn't work.
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. We're at the top of the hour. It sounds like we've got a mission going forward. Thanks everybody for all the support from all the angles on this. I'm happy that we're resolving the issue. I think that's our show.
Yeah, just let's get loud about this on Twitter.
Okay.
Just shout about it.
Okay. I'll shout.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Talk to you